Hi, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about the slope intercept form. The slope intercept form is a form of an equation that represents a linear relationship between two variables. Let me make it simpler for you. The general form is y is equal to mx plus b. Think of it in the form of a graph. Say you have a line that goes this way. This is your y-axis, and this right here is your x-axis, and this in red is your line. Y and x have some sort of relationship that for every y variable, there's a corresponding x variable. The idea, we call them variables because y could be any number and x could be any number. In this case, x is 3 and y is 4. If it was a fixed number, we would call them constants. Now, what is m and what is b? B is called the intercept. B is where the line touches the y-axis. In our case, in this simple example, it touches at the point 0, 0. The first coordinate, or the first number, represents the x, and the second one represents the y. So if I am to select a point over here, and say if this was 2, and this was 3, this point's coordinates would be 2, 3. This is x, and this is y. The slope of the line represents a ratio. And that ratio is this. It is how steep your line is. This is your y and this is your x. It tells you how high or low your line goes for each unit of x. Say this is 1 and this is 2. This is 2 and this is 4. So the coordinate right here is 2, 4. And now as you can see on the x-axis I moved from 1 to 2. This is 1 unit. But on the y-axis I moved 2 units. I moved from right here, which is 2, to right here, which is 4. So the slope of this line, which is m, would be 2. M is y over x. And how you can find m is you can locate 2 points on a line. Over here we have 1, 2, and 2, 4. And you can find the difference between the y over the x coordinates. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This point could be point 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. Either one could be 1 or 2. For our example, I'm going to take 2, 4 as 1 and 1, 2 as 2. So our y2 is going to be 4. Our y1 is going to be 2 from right here. Our x2 is going to be 2. And our x1 is going to be this one right here. So this is going to give us 2 over 1, which is the same as 2. So I just wanted to show you how it looks like on the graph and what it looks like if we just directly apply the formula. This is all you need to know to solve slope-intercept questions. You need to know the general form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. You need to know the formula for m, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You need to know the intercept, which is where the line touches the y-axis. And y and x are variables. They are any point on the line. M can also be negative. A negative m means that your line is going downwards instead of upwards. For every unit you move of x, you move down on the y-axis. So it's a negative. For example, in this situation, for every 1 unit of x I go, let's say this is -1 and this is -2, I'm moving down -1 units of x. And the slope of this line is 1. So I hope that helped you understand the slope-intercept form concept. Now we're going to look at some examples. Now here is the first example. What is the equation of the line between 0, 10, and 420? So we are told we have a line, and this line has 2 points on it. The first point, let's call this one the first point, is 0, 10, and the second point is 420. And remember, the coordinates are in the form of x, y. So this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. This could be point 1 and this could be point 2. It doesn't matter. You would get the same results. This could be x1, y1, and this could be x2, y2. Doesn't matter. The results will be the same. So for our solution, let's go ahead and make this 1 and this 2. And let's see what we have. So we need to find the equation. To find the equation, the general form is y is equal to mx plus b. We need to find our m. Let this be the first step, which is our slope. So we know that m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, this is going to be our point 2. So this is our x2, y2. This is our x1, y1. Now we're simply going to take these values and plug them in our formula. So we have, for y2, we have 20 minus 10 over x2 is 4 and x1 is 0, which leaves us with 10 over 4, and they're both divisible by 2, so we simplify it to 5 over 2. So we have found the slope. What we don't know is our intercept, our b value. Now, we can use the slope that we just found and one of these points, either this one or this one, to find b. We just have to plug either one of those in our general form. What do I mean? So our form here is y is equal to mx plus b. We found m, which is 5 over 2. Let's use 0, 10, point number 1. So our y is 10, our m is 5 over 2, our x is 0, and our b is what we're trying to find. This is 0, so we're left with b is equal to 10. Let's do the same thing with number 2, just to see that, in fact, we do get the same answer. Let's take point 2, 420. So our y is 20. Our m remains the same. The slope does not change. Our x is 4. And we're trying to find b. Let's solve this algebraically. So 2, 4 cancel. We have 2. 2 times 5 is 10. So here we're left with 20 is equal to 10 plus b. We're going to move the 10. This becomes 20 minus 10 is equal to b. And we're left with b is equal to 10. So either way, using point 1 or point 2 and our m, we can plug it into the general form to find b. Now that we have our m, we have our b, and we have our coordinates, we can go ahead and figure out what is the correct answer. So let me go ahead and erase this part since we have found our b. Just going to move this right up here. So we have m is equal to 5 over 2, and we have b is equal to 10. So our equation is going to be in the form of y is equal to 5 over 2x plus 10. This is the answer. So the correct answer is this option right here. Let's look at another example. You may be given a graph instead of a coordinates written down. Now in this graph, they've been kind enough to provide us with the coordinates. We have, let's say, coordinate number 1, which is 0, 8. And we have coordinate 2, which is -4, 0. Using these, we have to find the equation of the line in the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. So let's do it the same way we did the first question. Here, we'll go ahead and find m, first step. And we know that m, the formula for m, or our slope, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here, since we're considering -4, 0, this is our second point. y2 is 0. So 0 minus our y1 is 8 over, because remember, our coordinates are in the form of x, y. And our x2 is -4, and our x is 0. If we solve this, we're left with -8 over -4, which is 2. So our m is 2. We still need to find b, and we can find b using any one of the coordinates. Let's use 0, 8. So instead of y, we're going to plug in 8. We're going to say that is going to use the points 0, 8, x and y. So we have 8 is equal to, for m, we're going to plug in 2. For x, we have 0 plus b. That's what we're trying to find. This is 0. So our b is equal to 8. You can go ahead and try and use the -4, 0, the second coordinates, to find b. You'll get the same result. Now that we have m and that we have b, we can go ahead and find the equation of the line, and that is going to be y is equal to, our m is 2, x, and our b is 8. This is the equation of this line. So if we want to find any point on the line, say this is -8, and we want to find what is the corresponding value of x, you can plug in -8 for y and solve for x, and it will give you this point on this line. Let's go ahead and look at another example. So what is the y-intercept of the line with the following equation? We're asked to find b from our equation, which is y is equal to mx plus b. So let's go ahead and rearrange this to look like this. So we're given 2y minus 4x is equal to 10x minus 20. So we're gonna move the negative 4x to this side, and when we move the negative, it becomes positive 4x. So we have 2y is equal to 10x plus 4x minus 20. We want to have the y by itself, but over here we have a 2. To remove the 2, we have to divide both sides by 2. We'll be left with y is equal to 5x plus 2x minus 20. And we can add the x values together. So 5 plus 2 is going to give us 7x minus 20. So what is b? b is minus 20. So the answer is right here. Let's look at another example. Rewrite the following equation in slope-intercept form. So we've been given this equation, and we have to write it in the form of y is equal to mx plus b. Go ahead and pause the video and attempt to solve this yourself. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the solution now. So we have 2 plus 4, 8 is equal to 3x plus 10. We're going to take like terms together. So we're going to move the 2 on this side. And it's going to become 4y is equal to 3x plus 10 minus 2. Because it's a plus here, it becomes a minus when it crosses the equal sign. Then we're left with 10 minus 2 is going to give us 8. So we have 4y is equal to 3x plus 8. Let's divide both sides by 4. And we're going to be left with, so this 4 and this 4 will cancel. Y is equal to 3 over 4x plus 8. Over 4. This will simplify because 4 times 2 is 8. So we have y is equal to 3 over 4x plus 2. This is our final answer, which is this option right here. Let's look at another example. Rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. This is similar to what we just did in the previous example. So go ahead and pause the video and try to solve it yourself. I'm going to get into how to solve it right now. So we want this to be in the form of y is equal to mx plus b. We are given 2y over 3 is equal to a half x plus 3. So we want the y to be by itself. To move the 3, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 3. So this 3 and this 3 will cancel. So we're going to be left with 2y is equal to, then we're going to multiply 3 by each of these terms. So we're going to have 3 over 2x plus 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to go ahead and divide each side by 2. And this 2 will cancel, and we will be left with y is equal to 3 over 4x plus 9 over 2. This 2 and this 2 multiply, and 9 is left with over 2. So this is our final answer, which is this equation right here. It is possible that you may be given 2 coordinates, just like the first question, to figure out what is the equation of the line. this is a little bit trickier in the sense that we're given decimals instead of whole numbers, but you can still use the same concept to solve. So the general form is y is equal to mx plus b. We first need to find the slope of the line, and we're given two coordinates. The first coordinate is negative 0.72 and 1.42. So let's call this x1, y1, and our second coordinate is 4.22, 5.83. This is going to be x2, y2. The formula for the slope of the line is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's plug in these numbers. We have 5.83 minus 1.42 over 4.22 minus negative 0.72. You got to be careful with the signs. So the negative and the negative will make this a plus. Now, let's go ahead and solve this. So 5.83 minus 1.42 is 4.41 over 4.22 plus 0.72, which is 4.94. Now, you can leave this in this form. This is correct. This is a slope. For every 4.94 values of x that we move on our graph, we're going to move 4.41 values of y up because it's positive. You can further simplify if you have your calculator, and it will give you approximately 0.89. So this is our slope. Now we can find b. Let's use our first coordinates. So y is 1.42, m is 0.89, our x is negative 0.72 plus b. Now we're gonna simplify this. So our 1.42 is equal to, we're gonna multiply 0.89 times negative 0.72. And that gives us negative 0.6408 plus b. We're gonna move it. We're gonna move this over to this side, and this negative, when it moves, it becomes a positive when it moves to the other side. So we're gonna have 1.42 plus 0.6408 is equal to b. And that will mean that b is equal to 1.42 plus 0.6408, which is 2.0608, approximately 2. So the equation of this line, therefore, is going to be, I'm going to write it in red just so you can see it more clearly. Y is equal to, our m is 0.89 and our b is 2. 0.89x plus 2. And this is the final answer. Let's look at the next question. And this question says, if m is equal to 2 and the point 35 lies on this line, what is the equation of the line? So, we're given m, we're given coordinates. We have to find b. So we know that y is equal to mx plus b is the slope-intercept general form of a line. We have a y, which is 5. We have an m, which is 2, and we have an x, which is 3, and we're trying to find b. 2 times 3 is going to be 6 plus b. We're going to move the 6 on this side. So 5 minus 6 is equal to b, and therefore b is negative 1. We're going to use this to find the equation of the line. And the equation is, or the slope-intercept form, is y is equal to, our m is given as 2x plus b. Now our b is negative, so plus minus 1 is the same. Positive and negative multiplied will make negative 1. And this is our final answer. Y is equal to 2x minus 1. Now, in this case, we're given a graph, and we are asked to find the equation of the line. Go ahead and give it a try. To find the equation of the line, we need 2 points. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it now. You can use any 2 points on this graph. It doesn't matter. However, if you use a point which is not, you don't clearly know what the number is, you might get the answer wrong. For example, if I choose to use this point over here, I'm not exactly sure what that x and y is. Is that negative 2.8? Maybe. Is it negative 2.9? Not sure. This is also somewhere in the middle. I don't know. It could be a 2.5. It could be a maybe 2.4. So I don't want to guess. I want to use exact values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 points, and it could be any 2 points that I know the exact values of. So for our graph here, I'm going to pick this point right here, which is x is 0, y is 4, so the point is 0, 4, and I'm going to pick another point right here, which is x is negative 4, and y is 2. So we have 2 points, and now once you have 2 points, you can solve for the line. You could have just as easily picked this point, which is 0, x is negative 8, y is 0. You could have picked this point, or any other one. We're going to use this and this. Let's call this 1. Let's call this 2. Now, the general form is y is equal to mx plus b. Let's find m. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have 2 minus 4 over negative 4 minus 0. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 4 minus 0 is negative 4. This is 1, 2, so it's a half. So m is a half. We need to find b. Let's use point 1. So we have 4 is equal to, our m is a half, our x is a 0, and we're trying to find b. So this is going to be 0, and our b is going to be equal to 4. So the equation of our line, now that we have m and b, is y is equal to, our m is a half, x, and our b is a 4. This is the final answer. Similarly, you could solve this question. Same concept. Go ahead and give it a try. So I'm going to jump into solving it now. You can pause the video if you're still trying to solve it. I'm going to start with picking 2 points. I find it easy to pick a point that is touching on the y-axis first. So I'm going to pick that point. And this point is going to be, the x is 0 and the y is 1. And I could pick any other point. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. And this is, the x is 2 and the y is 5. Let's call this point 1 and point 2. Now the slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. We need to find m first. So our y2 is 5. Our y1 is 1. over our x2 is 2 and our x1 is 0. Sorry, I moved the image. Okay. So 5 minus 1 gives us 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. And this simplifies to be just 2. So our m is 2. Now we can find b using that m and any one of the coordinates. I'm going to use coordinate 1. So our y is 1. And this is equal to our m is 2. Our x is 0 plus b. Again, this goes to 0. 2 times 0 is 0. And we are left with b is equal to 1. Now we have everything to write our equation. So the equation of this line is y is equal to, our m is 2, x, and our b is 1. This is the equation for this line. Go ahead and give this one a try. I'm going to get into solving it. And the first point I'm going to pick is this one. It's 0, negative 2. And the second point I'm going to pick is this. That is negative 1, 1. Now we want it in the slope intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. Let's find m. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is, let's call this 1, let's call this 2. So our y2 is 1, our y1 is negative 2, over our x2 is negative 1, and our x1 is 0, minus 0. So 1 minus negative 2. Minus negative 2 makes this a positive 2. Minus and minus make plus. So this is going to be 1 plus 2, which is 3. And negative 1 minus 0 leaves us with negative 1. 3 over negative 1 is negative 3. Now we have our m. We can go ahead and look for our b. And we're going to use the first coordinates. So we have y is our negative 2 is equal to, our m is negative 3, our x is 0, and our b is plus b. That's what we're trying to find. This goes to 0, and we're left with b is equal to negative 2. So the equation of this line, after having found b and m, is y is equal to, our m is negative 3x, and our b is minus 2. This is the equation of this line. This is the slope intercept form. So this, I believe, is the last example. And go ahead and give it a try. You can pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and solve it right now. I'm going to pick 2 points. Just to make this a little different, I'm going to pick a point that is not on the y-axis. So the first point I'll pick is this one right here. We have 1, 1. And the second point I could pick is maybe this one right here, which is 2, negative 1. Let's call this point 1. Let's call this point 2. I could have just as easily picked this, this, or this, and gotten the same result. Any points on that line will give you the equation of that line. Now, the slope intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b. We have to find m first, as we have been doing in all of these examples. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Our y2 value is negative 1 minus 1 for y1 over x2 is 2 minus our x1 is 1. So we're left with minus 1 gives us negative 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1, which is negative 2. So we know that our slope is negative 2. We're going to go ahead and find b. Y is equal to mx plus b. We can use any point. We're going to use point 1, which is 1, 1. So our y is 1, and that is equal to, our m is negative 2, our x is 1 plus b. 1 is equal to negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus b. We're going to move the negative 2 on the other side. So a negative 2 when moved across will become positive. So we have 1 plus 2 is equal to b, and therefore b is equal to 3. So we have a b and we have an m, and we can write the slope-intercept form of the equation of this line, which is y is equal to, our m is negative 2, x plus our b is 3. And this is the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. I hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will be uploading more math tutorials, so please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.